Hey guys, before we do anything, before we get into the hardware, we're gonna have to understand a very crucial element to the Roland DJ series, and that's called beat gridding. Beat gridding is where you take your song and you put your, what we call the grid, onto the track so that we can utilize features like roll, auto loop, slicer. Those are going to be effects that will rely heavily on the beat grid. And of course, the drum machine is going to rely on that beat grid lying perfectly. So what I'm going to do right now is show you my computer screen. I'm going to select a track by our friend Battlecat. I'm going to play you the song real quick, and you'll notice that there are no numbers, there are no sort of markers in this track. The beat grid hasn't been set yet. So something to note is that the beat grid utilizes what's called 4/4 time, meaning there are 4 beats in one bar or one measure. Now that's important to note because if your track is in a different time signature, like let's say 3/4 time, the beat grid's not really going to work for you. It's going to be completely arbitrary, and it's not going to do you a service of utilizing those time-based features on your DJ-202. So we're looking at the Serato screen now. And what we're going to try to do is I'm going to take my hand on my jog wheel. I'm going to try to get as close to that transient as possible. And a transient is basically the big squiggly line. The biggest part of that squiggly line is called the transient. And so at the transient, what I'm going to do is to get into the edit grid mode. How I do that is I can either hold the Alt button and press spacebar on my keyboard, or I can simply left click on the edit grid button. Once I'm in the edit grid mode, what I can do is hit set. Then what I'm going to do is set the very first beat grid marker at the beginning of the track. So since this is the downbeat, I'm going to hit X or click set. X is the shortcut for this. I'm going to hit play. And because this is just the intro, I'm not going to worry about whether or not these hits actually land perfectly on time. It's not going to matter to me. I'm not really going to utilize this part of the song. So what I am going to utilize is once the track starts, I'm going to want to make sure that the beat grid markers are perfect from once that drum beat comes in, which is going to be right about here. So now if you take a look, the beat grid marker should be starting here. So this is bar 9. It should be starting here where this cue point is. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to rewind just a bit. And here I have a couple of options. I can adjust the beat grid marker, which means that if I click this, what it's going to do is kind of compress or expand the beat grid marker. I could utilize slip, but the thing about slip is that it's moving the entirety of the beat grid. It's not just moving one marker or compressing, but it's moving the entire grid left or right, depending on what arrow you're clicking. So for this example, what I'm going to be utilizing for the most part is going to be set. Once I set the very first beat grid marker, so now here at bar 9, I'm going to set it right about here. And then I'm going to do a quick check to make sure that as the track's playing, that it's hitting all of the spots that I needed to hit. Now here again, it's a bit off. You don't have to beat grid the entirety of the song if you don't want to. The tip here is that you want to beat grid just the parts that you're going to be utilizing either the drum machine with or the mix in and mix out points from a particular track. And that is how you set beat grid markers. Once you've completed that, you're going to hit save down here. And now you're ready to go.